What is good, Ninja? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to their PE discussion video. Today we're going to be talking about one of the franchises that I hold very dearly to my heart, and that is the Valkyria Chronicles franchise. Now, I actually have Valkyria Chronicles right here, plus I also have Valkyria Chronicles 2 on the PSP. I just could not find the box at this point, but I know I have it somewhere. And there's also Valkyria Chronicles 3 that I've played a little bit in English, just haven't got to play throughout the whole thing, but I beat Valkyria Chronicles 1 and I beat Valkyria Chronicles 2. But today we got to talk about something, because Valkyria Azure Revolution. Now, in this game, I didn't talk about it much. I played it. I have it on my PlayStation 4. I put hours into it. And there are a lot of things that go wrong with this game compared to the other Valkyria Chronicles games. Now, this one is not Valkyria Chronicles, it's Valkyria Azure Revolution, or just Valkyria Revolution in the States. And this game launched last month. It was a cheaper game. It was $40. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they just want to, you know, kind of get it out there. It's coming out in the summer. You know, it's not necessarily the biggest of the biggest titles. But when I started playing it, I realized very quickly that something went wrong during the development of this game. Now, in order to understand what's going on with this, we need to look at a couple different things. Then I'll get into the point of why this franchise needs to come back to the portable scene, because it had a lot of success in the portable scene, in addition to on PlayStation 3, but the sequels were on PSP. But it needs to come back to the portable and the home console scene, and what I mean by that is the Nintendo Switch. We need a reboot for it, and I think that this franchise would be much better off. I know it's usually catered to the PlayStation crowd, but I think at this point it's time to move on, because we'll talk about the sales, we'll talk about what's going on with this game and everything like that. But let's get into who made this game. Now, this was made by Media Vision Entertainment. Now, we need to understand who Media Vision is. They are a Japanese company founded in 1993 and have worked on many different titles, but they're most known for the Wild Arms series, okay? So they're the people who developed that. They've made a number of pretty good games from Wild Arms. They have Wild Arms 2, Wild Arms 3. They're also the developers behind Valkyria Chronicles 3. Plus, they also do Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. So they have some pretty good titles under their belt, whether it's old school or whether it's new school. So they're not necessarily a bad developer. So I don't want to pin everything on that, but we need to understand that yes, they've created some good games, but are they the top-notch developer that maybe they once were back in the day? Probably not. So that's one thing that you have to notice. Now, another thing that you have to look at with this game, Sega probably came to them and said, make something different. Make something that's not like Valkyria Chronicles. Not the real-time tactical / turn-based strategy that Valkyria Chronicles is. Alright, they said make something different. And I think the reason why they said that is because they were shifting away from the portable focus, away from the Japanese focus. Remember, this game, Valkyria Azure Revolution, or just Valkyria Revolution, I'm just going to call it Valkyria Revolution for this video, it's on the Xbox. But I know it's on the PS4 and Xbox, so two stationary home consoles. So they're trying to cater to home console players, especially putting it out on the Xbox. The Xbox has never received the Valkyria Chronicles type of game or anything like that. They have absolutely no ties to it at all. And even with Nintendo, there's at least a little bit of a tie, because in Valkyria Chronicles, as far as this game goes, you can use Ica and you can use Vice from Skies of Arcadia, and of course Skies of Arcadia was one of the big games on the GameCube with Skies of Arcadia Legends, so there's at least some type of tie, but there's absolutely zero ties with the Xbox, and it pretty much shows, because Valkyria Revolution on the PlayStation 4 sold around 70,000 units according to VG charts, and on the Xbox they have no data available. This game literally might have sold less than like 1,000 copies on the Xbox. This is the first time that I've seen a game like this as far as new, and literally there is like no data available, despite there being data available on the same version that released on the PlayStation 4. So the fact that we don't have anything just shows that it just probably completely flopped. I mean, 70,000 units is a flop on the PlayStation, but like not even charting it at all. There's like nothing. There's nothing that I can find on the sales data. So this was an astronomical flop for Sega, and in my opinion, I don't think necessarily the developer's the problem. It's the focus and what you're trying to do. What they tried to do with that game is that they tried to cater to the Western audience. They tried to cater to the more of the action home console audience, and you know what? It really failed, because the combat just feels like a bad mix of Mass Effect and Final Fantasy 15 with some guns in there. That's basically what it feels like. You have a wheel that you can pull up at any time and it pauses the combat, so you have that Mass Effect feel to it. You can scroll and pick your weapon or pick your magic or pick your grenade that you're going to throw, but then you can play in real time like Final Fantasy. You can do melee attacks, you can do shooting, so it has that mix of it. But the performance can be a little sluggish, not bad, but can be a little sluggish. The combat just doesn't feel balanced between the characters, nor does it feel really satisfying when you win or when you hit characters or anything like that. It just feels off as far as it, and you can tell that this developer, Media Vision, isn't really good at this type of game. Basically what they've done as far as what they make turn-based RPGs, or they make the tactical strategy RPGs. They did a good job with Valkyria Chronicles 3. That received well, although it didn't come out in the US. You can play it in English. There's various ways to play it in English. And it really built off of Valkyria Chronicles 2. Now, both of those were PSP games. A lot of portable games, they suit better to like what Valkyria Chronicles is, so I think that that really helped with those games. Now, none of them reached the level of where this one right here, Valkyria Chronicles, reached as far as quality gameplay, but it was still really good. They still got good reviews, everything was still fine, and I think in Metacritic, Valkyria Chronicles 2 has like an 80-something percentile range. What can they do going forward? I don't necessarily think Media Vision is the one to blame. I think Sega is for telling them to do something completely different and not sticking to their guns when it comes to it, and trying to basically cater to the Western audience with an action RPG in this franchise and trying to discount it. You know, I just don't think that was the right way to go. Now, going forward in the future, what do I feel that they should do? I think it's very simple, and I feel that it needs to include the Nintendo Switch, and I'll give you guys a couple of reasons why. Now, Valkyria Chronicles, I think that really in Japan, it's always a game that shoots out on the sales charts, especially back in the day. It came out pretty strong and sold okay, especially the PSP versions. Valkyria Chronicles 2, I think, did over 100K in its first week, so it did pretty good, and I'm not sure where it topped out at, but I know it was a lot more than Valkyria Revolutions. I think they really need to go back to that style as far as a portable game, but I also think that it can be a mix of the home console, and the perfect console in order to do that is the Nintendo Switch. If these developers were given one console to focus on, instead of having to focus on trying out a crazy new action RPG that they're not really skilled in and trying to make it on PS4 and Xbox One for console players, go back to the portable scene, which Valkyria Chronicles fits perfectly for the long battles of the portable system in general. Go back to that and put it out on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a big Nintendo fan. I love Valkyria Chronicles on the PC, I love Valkyria Chronicles on the PS4, and I have it on the PS3. I literally have it on 3 different systems. I have it on PC, I have it on PS3, I have it on PS4, I have it on everything. And I think it works okay as a console game, but the nature of it, as far as taking your turns and then shooting, then waiting, things can get a little bit long in the battle. Some of the battles can take very long, and I think it's more suited for a home console hybrid because you want those great graphics because of where the franchise started on the PS3, but then you also want to be able to play it in a portable state because it might take a little bit long in order to get some of the battles done. Another thing that I noticed with this game is that it actually looks worse than Valkyria Chronicles on the PlayStation 3. I'm not exactly sure how they have managed that, but yes, Valkyria Revolution on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One looks worse than Valkyria Chronicles on the PlayStation 3. Not Valkyria Chronicles on the PC or PlayStation 4, but Valkyria Chronicles on the PlayStation 3. And I think that's really just time and budget concerns and just not having enough of a grasp on the hardware, even though they did Digimon Story. But remember, that was a PS Vita game at the same time that they were developing it, and then it was upported to the PS4. It was not a complete PS4 title, so I don't think they had the bandwidth, they didn't have the know-how. Now, I think moving forward, the Nintendo Switch can be a perfect blend for them just because they're not necessarily the best as far as technical-wise and dealing with specs and all that, so why even bother? But you can create a beautiful looking game that's probably a little bit above or well past Valkyria Chronicles in that same art style on the Nintendo Switch portable play. Now, what they need to do is that they need to fix quite a number of things. They need to scrap that battle system, like I said, and how I talked about how going back to the original formula. They need to bring back the type of characters that we love, bring back those type of characters, and bring back that gameplay that really made Valkyria Chronicles one of the hidden gems on the PlayStation 3. That's the type of gameplay that's going to move you forward. However, you can ride the wave of the Nintendo Switch in order for better sales. You see what's happening in Japan. I've talked about it a number of times when it comes to the lottery lines, when it comes to just games in general. Indie games, smaller games, mid-sized games, all those are selling better because of the portable / console nature of the Nintendo Switch. The system is just on an incredible high right now. And I think if they're able to say, hey, let's go back, let's get our engine that we had on the PC for Valkyria Chronicles, let's port that over to the Nintendo Switch and build a game that leads off of where the PSP games went, I think you're going to have yourself a winner and a big seller in Japan. I would say that if the game is anywhere near the quality of Valkyria Chronicles on the PlayStation 3, they can sell anywhere from 150 to 200,000 units pretty much in the first week because of the Nintendo Switch's popularity, because of the art style, because of what people really like in that style of tactical RPG. So those are kind of my thoughts on this. I'm not trying to bash Sega, I'm not trying to bash Media Vision or bash necessarily the game. There's definitely some good things about the game. The story in Valkyria Revolution is actually pretty good, but just the gameplay does not stack up. The graphics are lackluster, the performance could be better, and I really think that they need some focus. They don't need to focus on Xbox One. Obviously, Xbox is not where your fan base is at. I'm not sure why they thought that's somewhere they can go, and hopefully Sega understands that going forward. So I would love to see Valkyria Chronicles as far as that franchise, Valkyria Chronicles 4 maybe, on the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully they can get that done, and Sega, hopefully you guys are watching this. I would love for you guys to get going on that, because I truly honestly think it can be a million selling franchise, million plus selling franchise if you put it on the Nintendo Switch. You focus your efforts, you make sure that it's like the PSP/PS3 game in terms of art style, in terms of gameplay, and you take it to the next notch because you're focused on one platform and you can move forward as far as the technology goes from a portable and a home console. I think people will eat that up. If it's like the PSP/PS3 games and it's on the Nintendo Switch, ride the wave. We saw Street Fighter do it. We saw multiple other games have done it so far. Indie developers are selling more than ever on the Nintendo Switch. Smaller game developers are selling more than ever. So I think you guys can fit right into there. Heck, you can have a $49.99 game, and I think it will do great. So what do you guys think about this? Would you guys be down for a Valkyria Chronicles on the Nintendo Switch, a Valkyria Chronicles 4? Let me know in the comment section below. And what are your fondest memories of the Valkyria Chronicles franchise outside of Valkyria Revolution? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And what are your thoughts on gameplay improvements? What do you think they can bring to the table if there was to be a Nintendo Switch version of the game? Just give me all of that below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also make sure you check out our Patreon page. Pledge any tier. We enter into win some awesome prizes each month. In addition to that, we have $10 prize eShop tournaments from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, and more, plus Discord voice chat during our live streams. Also make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.